Greetings, everyone. Let's see. I'm just setting up over here. Still setting up. Um, Things have been hectic and quite busy. So there's a few items that have been piling up. Um, Still working on VSS and orders and everything else. So I figured today I don't really have any real plan with this live stream. All it is going to be just basically watch me do my thing. Watch me work, watch me uh, do design, do take care of orders, maintain the printers, um, things like that. So it's basically as open. I got the comment section on the screen. And so if you have, questions and things like that, or just want to talk, say hello, uh, I'll see posts there. Um, so I'm getting ready to start a lot of prints. For those who are curious, the VSS I am working on. Oh, this chair wants to go back. Yeah, I upgraded my chair. Had a white one a few weeks ago. Now I got this. This one is one of those, mesh type. I say it's pretty comfortable. It's better than the regular chairs that I've been using. And my wife likes these types of chairs. She uses them at the office, and so I never used one other than whenever I went to the office. I would just use what they had there, and so now I got one of my own, and it's pretty good. If you never use these type of chairs, I suggest them. They're not bad. The mesh part keeps the back, the seat, everything cool. Heat doesn't really build up. It has its own tension, so it's quite comfortable. So they're on the pricey side, more than your regular vinyl or leather chair, but they're pretty comfortable. You can sit basically for all day and not feel a strain. So I do recommend these chairs. I've seen a lot of people with the racing chair, the gaming type chair and stuff. I haven't tried anything like that, but these mesh ones I think they're worth the money. So if you can get them, I suggest get them. So I was saying about the VSS. Let me turn it on. Computer, turn on VSS. Okay. So I still have to turn on the engine. I have other LED lights that are hooked up to a different power outlet because the length of the cords, they tend to be small. This is not one of them, but this is not too far from what actually comes with a lot of these LED lights, light strips. They come with a two-part cord. One of them has the adapter and the part that connects directly to the LED light itself. I go like this because there's usually some sort of link that adapter plugs into. And then on the adapter side itself, then they have the plugs, the cord with the plugs you can get in different countries and stuff like that, and just plug it into the adapter. And that cord is usually short, so I guess they're saving costs. So with the VSS, I'm moving from the aft section towards the front. What is the bow, I guess? And but now I'm working on the large maintenance bay area, and I have a bunch of small little these things here. I got a bunch of these. They're in another room, not the cam. So these are all printed. These are identical. They're made so that way I could have a linkage in between, and I can just erector set them kind of together, and kind of grow them. And because I now have a conveyor belt style printer, I can also print extremely long pieces. So this piece here is basically the longest I could do with these printers. And I had to print these at an angle, diagonal, because it would be just too long to print like this or like that, So I had to go from, sideways. Now, with the new printer, that the length is no longer an issue. So this so far is the longest print I've done yet with it. You can see it is significantly different, longer. And I have to go, like, I would say maybe 2.5 times, at least twice as long, to do the maintenance part on the VSS back there. And so it's going to be like 2.5 feet, something like that. Not exactly, maybe around 2 feet. So I got longer pieces I'm going to do, and I have some ideas. And one of the ideas is, besides the LED light strip light fixtures that are going to be suspended on the ceiling, I also need to do other long pieces too. And one of them I was kind of working with a little bit yesterday is a gantry crane. And so I'm trying to do like a low profile gantry crane, something that can mount on the sides, the starboard side and port side, and then have rails going across, going from the back to the front, and then a single rail going across. That single rail, will be able to move back and forth, and then have the crane part itself ride along the rail. So something like this, where or maybe like that, where the middle part has the crane moving back and forth, and then the whole rail itself can travel the entire length. And so I'm thinking of something like that, and if it works, yeah, that's something I'll definitely make available for everyone to be able to use. And so I'm trying to do a non-destructive way. So with the long rails that mount to the MDF wood, I intend to use like hooks that you can just rest on top of the wood, and these hooks, would be something like that, and the rails would fit on the inside hook, so like an S hook. And but it'll be 3D printed. It'll be with attachment points, things like that. So you can just attach the rails to it, and then just simply lay it on top of the MDF wood. And I have something like that working right now with this part. So let me get this straight. So this is a small test, print that I did here. So this top part rests on top of the MDF wood, and then anything else kind of attaches to the inside part. It's got holes for putting screws if you need to screw the thing in. Being a prototype, there's other options I could have done, which I didn't do. So when I do the longer version of this kind of hook, I'll put ports for attaching other kinds of things. So all this one does is just serve to support this piece, and so that way, if I can, if I ever need to remove it, I can just simply remove this and then simply add it back in. So, and I got a small one in the front. So I'm going to do something like that, but instead of being for the outside, it'll be for the inside. And that's basically the news on the VSS there. Printing the thing is going to take a number of hours. That long piece that I showed took 15 hours. And because it's so small, so thin, only 20 millimeters wide, sometimes the printer, as it prints, will knock the piece and then it'll come completely off. So you have to have some surface area. And so I do, so far I'm doing a minimum of 20 millimeters wide as the surface area. And I slow down the print to really slow to really make sure it makes a good connection and or good adhesion, really. And so after it gets to a certain length, then I increase the speed, but it still takes about 15 hours to do that part. And on other topics, I got one of these portable UVC lights. So, to help disinfect things and stuff. So I wanted to show that because I'm still in the process of kind of like connecting everything. I haven't charged it up yet, but this is a nice little handy item to disinfect things. Don't have that virus or anything like that, but if you're concerned about stuff like that, if you're concerned, I wonder if you're concerned about stuff like that. I guess I'm going to have to use a paper clip to kind of move this around. I thought that the plastic on the inside for this was going to have like a U shape. You put the cord in and it just kind of loops around, but no, it goes way in. So anyway, typical day. So this, things like this is what I do every day. Maintain the machines, maintain the printers. Sometimes we get new things. For example, we recently ordered larger Ziploc bags. Ziploc. They're the locking type. And so because there's been now a few large orders where I'm trying to get my act together in terms of organizing the bags on the inside of the boxes that we send out. And since I don't have separate product boxes for each product, I'm just using on bags. But now I'm trying to get a little bit more organized where if you have multiple bags for a project, they should all be inside of a larger bag. And so I'm thinking, maybe I could get to the point where, like, if I sell things at a convention, Joe Fest, things like that, Joe Fest, maybe I can print some labels and then just staple them to the bags, and so that way things look a little bit more professional at a convention. And so I was thinking, well, I'm going to need to get some larger bags to begin with. So we recently ordered some of those large bags. They're like 9 by 12, something like that, or 10 by 12. I don't remember now, but they should be coming in soon. And then you probably, will see me here messing around with the bags, trying to how to say, organize how they're going to um, be done. I need to cut this little paper clip. Yeah, so with the bags, I'm going to have to also do like a new checklist. So, yeah, I should say this. So we can standardize on what items are going to be in what bag. So that way, we don't start mix and matching different bags for the same products. And so that's something else I got to do. And maybe you'll see me do that online here. And yeah, so I got some parts that I'm doing for an order. Well, several orders. These little geo stabilizing, geo camera things. I don't remember what I call them, but they are in the process right now of being smoothed in. And part of the process is that they need to vent out in the air, so they're outside, and maybe I can do this. So they're outside, and I got to do that like around 24 hours before boxing them. I hope this works. Let's see. Maybe it won't work. It wants to work. Yeah, it's a little bit too long. So, yeah, I gotta bend this out some. So in a little while, I'm going to be taking in those items because they're just about ready to go into the bags. Okay. Something like that. So even though we don't have, we're not infected with the virus or anything like that, was thinking of, being on the safe side. With Joe Fest coming up, we go to the hotels. Man, that was too short. I'm not going to use this little thing. Okay, enough of that. So what I got to do with this is charge it up, and UV light. Too much of it, they say, can cause cataracts on your eyes, and UVC is I think it's at a lower wavelength than regular UV, so it's also much more dangerous. You don't want to look at it. You don't want to have pets around that will look at it. You don't want to see the lights indirectly. So places like that's a UVC. It's a USB-C connector. How about that? So places like hotels, you got a bunch of rooms and stuff. Who knows what shortcuts they take to clean rooms? And so I figure something like a UVC light. Maybe I should point it away from me just in case it turns on, huh? Okay. Something like a UVC light to disinfect everything would be a good idea to have and use, because you never know. And it's like when I go traveling to a convention, I usually rent a car. And something last year, when we were preparing to go to Joe Fest, one of the concerns I had was, well, we make a lot of, we have a lot of concern about the hotel rooms, but what about the cars themselves? Because you know, people usually just they don't care about the condition of the car that they rent. They get in, they trash it, they leave it. It's not their car. So they don't take care of the car in the same way as if they own the car. And not only that, but you know, well, I guess I'm going off on a tangent on that part. And the long story is that those cars can be hotspots for infections as well as a hotel room. So I was thinking, hey, we can sanitize the car, at least the steering wheel and things like that. Um, you know, with the UV light, and because we go around sanitizing the hotel rooms anyway. We bring up some wipes, some Lysol, things like that, and because you never know what someone has before you and what shortcuts the hotel people have taken, because they got to deal with a lot of rooms. So things may not be so clean as it may seem. So you never know. So on the safe side, I decided to get the UVC light, and maybe that it will work for us. You know. Anyway, prices have gone down on those lights, so get them. And there's other things too. Remember back when the lockdowns were a big thing, and you had a lot of news about what was going on in other countries. You saw other places using UV lights to sterilize stuff, including the shoes and things like that. And I was thinking, oh well, you go walking around in a hotel or walking around from outside, you can disinfect the shoes easily with the UVC light. So anyway, a lot of thoughts on that. You know, better safe than sorry, in my opinion. Not only that, but when I do some resin stuff, it'll help cure things. We already use a UV chamber for curing resin, but sometimes as the object, you come back later and you say, I wonder if the object cured properly. Well, now I can just simply just cure extra. It's just as good as taking the part out into the sunlight. Well, anyway, enough of that. What I need to do now is take a look at the order list. I need to laser cut some wood parts, things like poker tables, general desks, things like that. And some signing in here. I also have to work on another item for the VSS, a wall. My voice is getting kind of rough. Should probably drink something. Orders. Ooh. Okay. The next three orders on the list are almost done. The fourth one I'm working on. Oh, here's a small one. Oh, okay. I can get this one. I can get this one out, like today. A very small one. I can get this one out today. Um, it's a resin piece. How about that? I'm kind of phasing out some of the resin stuff. So some of the items in inventory is going to get less and less. And then I'll just replace it with more durable plastic. Okay, that one's taken a while to do, but it's such a small order, I can just go ahead and just piece it together. I have those items already in inventory. The only thing, here's one. Okay, I can get this one out today also, because I have it all even bagged up. So, good. I don't have to spend any time with it. And, yeah, I try to get the orders out as soon as I can. There's so many pieces to them that when I get something from inventory, it usually drains all the pieces, and I have to remake those pieces. Meanwhile, orders are coming in, and I have to, do those things too. So it's always like a little rat race for me to get things out ASAP. It may not seem like it, but as soon as I get the orders in, I do start printing them. And even though I do go quiet, everything is being worked on. So it's in one sign is when you see me go quiet on Facebook, I'm very busy. So I don't do things on Facebook unless I have some free time, and so you can tell when I don't have free time is when I'm not on Facebook so much. That means also private messages sent on Facebook, or things like that. I do try to respond more quickly when it comes to the emails. So if you do send stuff to the Die Warriors email, I do try to respond to that quickly. Okay. I'm looking at this order here. I need to print. I got one item already printed, another item already printed, another item printed. So the last one I have to just make sure I have all the pieces for. Fortunately, I've been printing extra pieces. Yeah, I should go take a look and see. But I know offhand I need to do. Why am I getting notifications? I tell you, Windows 10. The more I use Windows 10, the less I like it. There's a lot of things that are convenient. There's a lot of things that are stable, and I like that stuff. But it's these other little things, a notification here and there, wanting to install an update at the inappropriate time. There's a lot, and I get these. I don't get nag screens so much, but you do something, and then all of a sudden you get a message from Microsoft: change your background, install the app. And I don't want to. So I tell the thing to be quiet, and it's quiet only for a limited time. Then maybe about 2 months later, change your background, install the app. I just want to do my work. and I really don't like software subscriptions. And I think subscriptions are just the wrong thing to do with software. It may make money for a short time, but you got to think, that if subscriptions become the mainstream, popular way to make money with software, then you're going to have subscriptions here, subscriptions there, subscriptions elsewhere. In other words, all the little bitty costs for $5 here, $7 there, per month, things like that. It's going to add up. And then with software, it's not just $5 here, $7 there. It's a bit more, per month. That's going to get expensive when it's one software, two software, three software, four software. It's going to add up, and then eventually, it's going to be like too many subscriptions, and like I'm feeling that already with the online streaming stuff. Disney Plus, um, Netflix, things like that. It gets to the point where it's just too much, and that there plus software subscriptions, and soon, the wallet's not going to be, you know that deep to something's got to go. Okay, let's see. I need to check to see if I have items for this. This is a battlefield sentry drone, which I like a lot. I like these drones. I want to do a second drone. Here is one idea that I am entertaining again. So the Sentry drone is version 2. This is version 1. You can see I never really completed this part here. The idea with this one was basically a battlefield drone. But the bottom part, the turrets, are all good. I think the turret, I just need to make a modification, maybe have more areas for storage. And I need to change the way this turret part is for weapons. But at least this one gave me an idea, because I was working with the VSS and I was thinking, I need a forklift. But because of the narrow spaces, I'm thinking, well, maybe, how about if we had a robotic forklift, something smart, some sort of AI forklift, that has some sort of robotic arm that can, you know, grab pins, with a pincer thing, something like the loader from Aliens, but can rotate and pivot up and down. So that way you can grab a pallet, lift it up, move it around, or if it's not a pallet, but let's say a beam, something big and wide, it can grab it, rotate it if needed, lift it up, rotate it lengthwise, fit through a narrow door, things like that. So I was thinking, how about make it so we could have, I can reuse this chassis, this turret, and change this part, and make a robotic forklift, and that can lead to other things. So I am looking at that as an idea. My mouth is getting really dry, so what I'm going to do is get something to drink. I also need to check on how much parts I have for that drone, and if I need to print any more. Be right back. Okay, I am back, and unfortunately, I have part of that drone printed. What needs to get printed are the tracks, and everything else looks to be done already. The weapons, the missiles, but I should print out an extra missile just in case. So I will do that too. And if it's because I didn't see it, but I know I have more than one done, and but so I need to get that going. I need to print the. I got the chassis. I see I have an armor piece here, just in case I don't have one over there. But the turret and all the other items, the weapon systems are all done. So I need to print that triangle-looking set of tracks. I gotta print two of them. So I'll get that started right now. Computer, turn on mini select tube.
Okay.
Computer, increase volume. Computer, turn on mini select 3.
Okay.
And let's get some light going on in the background too. Computer, turn on figure display.
Okay.
I tell you one thing, with automation, it really helps. Even just turn on lights and stuff, it really helps. See, you got to do print. Yeah, right here. I'm just going through the file list. Okay, try this. Okay. And the other one is the missile, so another printer to do that. But wrong printer. Computer, turn on mini select 5.
Okay.
I got some additional pieces here that I need to clean up. Sometimes, depending on the filament that's used, the age of the filament, things like that, sometimes you can get stringies, and sometimes those stringies can be a lot. And there's different printer settings to help eliminate that. But when it comes down to it, it's more than just simply what's called retraction, pulling the plastic back into the tube as it moves. The idea with that is to prevent the stringies by not having plastic exposed, so it doesn't string because it's exposed. Instead, you're pulling the plastic back in. But it's more than just simply that, and that's a common solution. But it really is more than simply that. Anyway, let's see, starting. Yeah, no. Yeah, right here. Nope. Where did that file go? I have another missing thing that I need to clear out. Missile stuff for the deviant. You can see it's got some leftover stringies, and got some supports that I put there. It prints like this. Ah, the sunlight, and I got the blinds closed too. All that glares from the sunlight. So I'm thinking maybe I can also uh, find another use for these missile systems. I'm thinking for the VSS. So I need to print at least 2 of these just for prototype purposes. I don't have the time for that at the moment, but it's something I gotta do soon. Computer, turn on Mini Select 8.
Okay.
Okay, print. Where is it? Did I delete it? Mm. What's so strange is that I recently printed it. Hmm. Maybe I just need to copy the file. I bet you maybe I printed it, then deleted the file. Get more space on these SD cards. But what gets me is what happened to it. Huh. I'm wondering if I'm just not looking properly. Okay, that's better. Going down the list, piece by piece. The last thing I was printing was this. Hmm. I wonder if it's on the printer that I'm printing the tracks right now with. Hmm. Anyways, simple way to solve that is to put it back on an SD, one of these little mini XD cards, things like this. I got my phone here. So, in terms of the rumor mill, what y'all think is going on or will happen with Mandalorian and stuff like that? I'm hearing a lot of stuff like Kathleen Kennedy is on the way out, and someone is going to end up, replacing her. That's the current rumor that's going on. I don't know if it's true or not. I bet you, though, there's a lot of disinformation going on from different sides. But I bring that up because I'm kind of wondering. I'm kind of wondering about future Star Wars, Star Trek, and things like that. It's like things want to change. It's like people want to change the fabric of those brands. And as a toy maker, you look for inspiration on different props and different things that are going on. We set up the dioramas and stuff because we feel inspired by the different sets and costumes and things that stimulate our imagination by watching shows like that. And you know what I'm kind of getting at a little bit is like for example in Mandalorian, you see a lot of physical props, and it's like when you look at Star Trek, the new stuff, there's a lot of CGI type things, hologram displays and things like that, and that looks very high tech, but you can't really make a prop that's of a hologram. You can do of certain items, certain things, but a holographic display that just kind of hovers in the air, that's harder to do. So I just kind of wonder about everything. So let's see. The camera keeps on shifting focus. Come on, camera. Hey. Let's see. I need to look for those files. Okay, I got. What would that be? It would be under vehicles. I organize my folders here, based on like if it's a prop, if it's a vehicle, if it's a figure, if it's things like that. So I got to go to vehicles. What scale? 118 scale, and then I go to. I guess I call it modern, but it's futuristic. Land is an unmanned vehicle. It's I called it pack rat because of based on GI Joe, but it's not a pack rat at all. Now I got several versions. Which version I'm looking for? I am looking for this version. Okay, great. Now I gotta look for the file, and I wish the camera would stop shifting focus. Just stay on me, and that's it. Camera. Missile pod 2. Okay. So then I go to the folder that has the different printers. I look for missile pod 2. There's the STLs. And then M for missile pod 2. And then M again. There it is. Okay. So now I am going to copy the file to the card. And I'm going to have to make a new folder on the card. USB G. Open a new window. What do I want to call it? Just call it pack rat. Pack rat. What do you call it? This one. I should probably move this into the regular card, the one that's printing the tracks. That one has all the files for it. So I should probably make sure that the missile pod is there. But the thing is that sometimes these printers, they use the lowest common denominator on these cards, so they get cheap cards that don't have a lot of storage capacity, and they design around that. And so when you want to go to a higher capacity card, it's hard to find something that's compatible, and then the software in the machine may not even recognize that. So it goes up to a certain point, and then from then on it gets very iffy. And part of that iffy is that you can get the same capacity card like I'm holding here, but there's a certain classification of these cards, and it has to be compatible to what the printers are expecting. Even though it's the same capacity, the classification itself, may not be compatible. Okay. Print. Backwrap missile. I always use a little bit of hairspray. Okay. Missile pod 2. Oh. Okay, it's heating up. And it'll get done. So, moving on. Sometimes I gotta go through and take a look at the resin pieces. Now, I don't want to say that I'm phasing out the resin because I am not. It's just that right now I am more focused on plastic because the plastic is still more durable. You know, when we do things with our scales, 1/18 scale, the thinner pieces become very challenging to make. And when you do things with resin, because resin looks really nice, when you do figures and stuff, the thin parts for the axles and the pins and things for the hinges, it's just so thin. It's really hard to make something that's not going to break. So little by little, I'm going back towards plastic on many items. So even with a regular figure, when you buy something from the store, the materials are going to be like PVC, ABS, and POM. And lots of times the plastic for the hinges and things is going to be a more durable piece like POM, and it resists wear and tear, and it's a thin pieces and stuff. If you try printing that with PLA or some cases with ABS, it's still going to be breakable. ABS is going to be more more durable, more durable. But if you're trying to print it, that's going to be a challenge because of the size. So you have to print something where it's larger. It's there's always a pro and con. So little by little, I'm moving back more towards plastics and trying to be very selective to what I use resin for. Trying to take advantage because you don't not every you don't use one tool for every job. You use different tools for different jobs. Same thing with the printers. Use different technologies for different things. You play everything to their strength. And that's one reason why we have so many different kinds of printers here. Everything is being designed to what they're better for. Okay, let's see what else I got to do. I got to look for wood stuff. I need to set up laser cut items. So, trying to think. That's under a folder called furniture. And that folder is under a folder called props. So let's see, props, furniture, 1/18 scale. Now I gotta think. It's a table. Okay, so I'll go to the table section. Tables, poker table. Where is it? Well, it's a round table. Oh, it's a poker table over here. Okay. Now gotta find which machine. Okay, there's the stuff. Now what I gotta do is bring up the software for the laser cutter. Okay, and checking for update. Do I want to update? Yes, no. I say no. Okay. Now I get the path, copy, and I go open, paste the path, enter. There's the files. I want this one. Open. Okay, the layout is all over the place. I do have green paper for it, so I don't have to do the construction paper stuff. Okay, so in a little while I will start the laser cut for that. So let me move to another window. Excuse me. I got another machine, another computer on. Is it on? I'm trying to look at the light. Yeah, it's on. So I need to connect to that machine through my network. So let me do that real fast. So like I said, if you're visiting, if you have questions, you just want to say hello, I have the chat comment section open so I can see that. And usually on my other live stream videos, I have other windows going on and I don't see the comment section. But not this time. I'm logged in. Ooh, okay. Oh. So Windows on that machine must have updated because now it kicks me out to the login screen. So now I wait for the other machine. The other machine is it was one of those kiosks computers, and my echo. Okay, so what happened is the owner of this place, the guy wanted to clear out all the junk that was from the previous owner. He just bought a building, an office building, and he wanted to. Man, Windows 10. Now I got to go back, and I'm not going to do this right now. Change the resolution because the resolution is all screwed up now. I tell you, I really don't like. Huh? What happened? You know what? I bet you it's going to say, you know, Internet Explorer or whatever. Microsoft Edge has been upgraded. See what's new, because right now there's a window that popped up and disappeared. I could my background is programming, so I've programmed a lot of software, and I'm disappointed a lot with Microsoft in general. As I tell you, when you look at different operating systems out there, there's standards, and the standards have evolved over decades. Really, it's one reason why Windows have grab points, so you can resize it. Sometimes on different operating systems, the grab points are highlighted in different colors, so you can, there's no guesswork. The main idea is to eliminate guesswork from the user. The user knows what is a button, what is a text field, what is something that you can click. And Windows used to be like that. When you design something for Windows, it had, everything had to be compatible to a certain way things were done. So Windows would be standard all across. So you can, so no matter what version of Windows you used, you didn't really have to relearn how to use Windows. It was familiar. Buttons look like buttons. You know, check boxes look like check boxes. Things were familiar, and that was a key selling point, really. Then Windows 8 comes about, and suddenly, they want to change the interface, make it for tablets, make it for this, make it for that, and you end up having this, letdown of standards. Now things look like a web page, and the things about web pages is that anyone can make the web page look like whatever they want. So you could have a button that looks like a picture. You could have a picture that looks like a button. And that's how Windows is following. There's where are it's you bring up a new window, the border is gone. So you have to, like, okay, do I am I able to resize the window? So you have to actually move the mouse. You can't just eyeball it. You have to actually move the mouse to see if the mouse has any reaction, changes the cursor to an arrow. So in other words, you leave the user guessing. And that's just the beginning of it. Microsoft used to have this thing about software. I forgot what it was called. It was a standards. So when you bought a new program, a Windows program, it would have the Microsoft logo, that it was compatible, let's say compatible to Windows this, Windows that. So, to have your software approved to get this logo on your product, you would have to make your Windows look and behave a certain way. And that means that when it came to color, for example, you had your software had to be compatible to Windows disability requirements. So people who could not see certain colors would be able to see and be able to function with your software. Not just that, but Windows also had the requirement that if you're in a work environment and you have high contrast, a lot of glare, your software had to be able to conform to high contrast environments, high glare environments. So it had to play good with black and white or negative colors. So all these things had to be approved before you could get a Windows logo. Now all that's out of the air. All that's completely gone. It's like just make programs however you think they should be. And so I'm seeing things like, for example, the laser cutter stuff, that the software that I use for there, it's like I'm working with an Apple computer, some sort of Macintosh thing. Well, it is inspired by people who take their look for their software based on the Mac. That's not a problem there, but if you're going to port the software onto a Windows thing, really it should perform like a Windows program, not like a Mac. It's like me, if I were to design a Linux program and then port it over to the Apple platform. I can get Apple people upset that I am kind of forcing them to use non-Mac conventions. And in the same way, it's like, anyway, pet peeves, huh? Pet peeves. Now I got to mess around with a lower resolution on this other computer. Man, I don't know. Sometimes people like to see someone get annoyed and upset with, like when I'm watching YouTube, Suddenly there's a commercial, and I'm like, I'm quick to get the mute on the remote. And as soon as it says, you can skip the ads, I'm pressing that thing to skip the ads. And sometimes I get on YouTube, and within 1 minute, okay, I click on something to watch, and I get not one but two ads, and then so I have to wait like so many seconds for the ad to end, and then the next ad to come on, and then that ad to end, and then I can finally watch my program, and then like a minute and a half later, there's another ad that comes up. It's only like 6 seconds. I'm already clicking the mute, but the thing is, it's like it's like you sit down, okay, old school. It's like you sit down to watch TV, and then a kid comes and changes the channel, and then you get angry at the kid. Put it back. I was watching something, and the kid changes it back. 6 seconds. Meanwhile you're frustrated. It's like, oh man, don't you see I was watching something, and then they got to come and change it right in front, so only so I can be interrupted to go back to what I was watching. So sometimes people like to see that on YouTube. So maybe I could get a lot of subscriptions if I just have a channel of you know watching me get upset with YouTube commercials. Look, another commercial. That kind of thing. Yeah, some sort of gimmick for people to subscribe. Anyway, you don't get those gimmicks with me here. You just hear me talk and rant about things. But this is part of the workplace environment. You know, you go to the office, you sit at your desk, and you hear other conversations, other background noises, things going on. Um, it's just the way the office thing is. And this is my office right here. So what I needed to do here is I got a regular hard drive on that, so I it's not lightning fast. And so right now I'm waiting for, okay, window popped up. Um, Now comes the pain. Not enough space. I don't want to mess around with the resolution right now. I got things I got to do. Got to make the window big, and then I gotta go to the backup drive. Is it this one? Yeah. I go to the backup folder. Okay. Now I gotta move the window over some, as much as possible, to bring up another window, so I could go to the other network drive and drag and drop some files. Oh, hold on for a second. I got a phone call to take. Hello? Okay, I'm back. Let's see. Strange. I thought it was my brother calling, but it was another phone just in the same city, using the same last numbers like his phone number has. So I thought it was him. So I answer, and then there's somebody else, and I'm like, who are you? Don't sound like my brother. Who are you? Did my brother give someone in his office my name so they can contact me for something? I don't know. And then it dawned on me this is totally unrelated. So, but it was an important call, so I'm glad I answered. Usually, I don't answer if I don't recognize the number. Um, so let's see. I wrote down some stuff. Put it to the clipboard. Close Notepad, and now I need to send off an email real fast. Okay. Send. Um, okay. See, got that email out of the way. I need to make another quick little call, but this is going to be short, not as long as the other one. So I'm just going to mute again, real short. Well, I said it was short, and there was no answer. So, okay. Anyway, back to work. Production. Let's see. I need to. I need to. I'm on the network computer behind me. I need to connect to my network hard drive. Okay, and I'm there. I just got to make sure I'm not going to overwrite. I'm going to copy some files. Okay. So I got to make sure that this is the target and this is the network. Okay. So I'm going to delete all these on the target. And I'll come, it's going to take a while, so I'll come back to that in just a bit. So let's see. I need to go turn on the laser cutter. Okay, I'm back. Got some wood in that laser cutter, and I'm going to set up the machine to laser cut. Um, can I share the screen for everyone so everyone gets to see what I'm doing? Let's see now. Yeah, I guess I could, huh? Can I go share screen, window? Okay, share. Make it a little bit more interesting what we do here. Oh gosh. Okay, so if I move the screen, if I move the window around the screen, it's going to change things, huh? Anyways, okay. Let's just do about this here. Oh, a bit of fun. So I printed this thing yesterday. Took 15 hours to do. And then I found that it was actually about this much too too long. So instead of taking a saw and sawing it off, or spending another 15 hours to reprint it, I brought it to the laser cutter and went, just cut it. But the thing about it is, and it came out with a very strong chemical smell, and this is PLA. So I guess there's a difference between 3D printing with PLA, melting the plastic versus burning the plastic. So it went quite easy. It was very quick, but a very strong smell. It wasn't acidic. It was just man. And I wasn't going to put my nose to it to kind of like, is this acidic? Smelling or some other. It was just if you figure it's not going to if you can smell it, it's got some fumes you don't want to smell close up. So just make sure everything vented properly. And but interesting, it's like, I guess if you were to put a flame to PLA, or burn it, this you'll get this strong smell. So don't burn these things. Um, oh, sorry. Go back to this. Now what I'm going to do here is simply move this out of my way. Trying to think, what exactly do I need? I need these. So the software, Beam Studio, is for the Beam box, or the BMO laser cutters. And it gets a lot of flack from people because it's not a very friendly to use. Well, I take it back. It is a friendly to use bit of software for layout, and that's the key. All this is about layout. It is not about using the software for making new design, or really for editing an existing design. It has tools for design, but that's mostly for, like, if you're in a pinch. I think for example, it does have font, does have text. Maybe you forgot to put something in your original file, or something, or something simple. But the software is mostly for layout, laying out and controlling the printer. Setting the speed, the amount of uh, power and everything. All that just is for controlling the printer. Printer. Sorry, I'm thinking about. I just noticed that everything is color coded. You see the colors here, but you don't see the colors here, and that's a glitch with the software. It doesn't happen like that all the time. So I'm not quite sure what I did that is and just another thing. Let me expand the picture on this, because I don't think I could put 3 circles this way. Do y'all see my mouse? Is the mouse invisible? Because I'm illustrating with the mouse. Okay. Let me just expand a little bit more. Yeah, so anyway, this is all for layout. Now I guess I won't have enough space to put the three circles and then the legs for the poker table. Uh, in other words, I'm going to have to use this much space regardless. Because if I put this here, it's going to be like right about here, and then I'm going to have legs just dangling. So let me just do it like this. Now, if I do put it like that. So when I do another one, I can use the same wood, and I can do the circles down on the bottom, and in the middle just have the legs there. So, okay, anyways, gonna go through the power settings. Yeah, that's good. I do execute things multiple times, but I'm going to try to do it as 4 times because actually I'm going to try the standard 3 times and see the results. Something people don't realize, but all lasers have this issue, especially the CO2 lasers. Well, all the lasers that uses a tube anyway. The gas tends to leak through the glass and other things. So, in other words, the tubes have a shelf life. And the rule of thumb is the greater the capacity of the laser, the longer the tube is going to last just sitting on the shelf. So a 40-watt tube has a shelf life that's about 2 years, 2.5 years, plus or minus. A lot of it depends on use. If you don't use it, that's about the average time. And the key word there is average, because it may be a little less. You may get lucky and it's more like 3 years or 3.5 years before you have to replace the tube. So a 30-watt laser is going to be about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. It just depends. And so whether you use the machine or not, your tube is always going to be leaking, and you're not going to know it. And this is always a concern because you might get a brand new machine and then find out that your laser tube needs to get replaced. But why? I just bought it. The tube was probably sitting in a warehouse, whether it's at the laser maker or the company that makes the tube, was probably sitting in a warehouse for a length of time before it was shipped out to the laser maker, for example. And so you got to take those things into consideration. So one sign that your laser tube is beginning to get old is when it starts to gradually fail. And gradually meaning that you find yourself having to up the power every so often, slow down the speed every so often, do both of those, or do multiple passes every so often, and it increases. So, like, for example, a good cutting power on the wood is 20%. It's actually around 14%. No, let's say around 20%. It's a good speed for like 1 pass, 2 passes. It just depends. And I'm sorry, the power is about 20%. Speed that I started on this was around 14 millimeters per second, and that would cut 3 millimeters piece of wood pretty good. But as the tube gets older, I have to increase the power and decrease the speed, and sometimes even increase the number of times it has to do the cut. So now I'm finding I'm at 25% power and 10 millimeters per second speed, and the number of times to cut may fluctuate. It just depends. Sometimes wood, especially plywood, gets a rough area that resists cutting, and you have to go multiple times. And that's something too a lot of people don't realize also, is that plywoods tend to be layers of wood. Each layer is glued under high pressure and stuff. Sometimes that glue resists laser cutting. Sometimes it's a lot of glue in that area and it resists the laser cutting. So people think it's the machine that is not good. You can't even cut wood. But lots of times it's the wood that's resisting because of the glues. So with this said, let's go ahead and start the cut. Now what it does here is it's going to send all of this information to the laser machine. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go open up the window and make sure that there's good ventilation. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to have to also raise up the AC because now I've got the window open. Start. Now, on this particular laser machine, I have a faulty water sensor. So it uses, to cool the laser, there's going to be some sort of liquid. The Glowforge uses an oil. Beambox uses distilled water. And to make sure that there's actually that the pump is actually, the water pump is actually flowing, there's a sensor. And unfortunately on this particular machine, the sensor I have is going bad. I need to replace the sensor, and I have a replacement. I just haven't had the time to take apart the machine to replace that sensor. It's not a very difficult process. It's just time consuming, and because I got water in the tube, I'm going to have to, deal with water spillage while I disconnect tubes, some flexible tubes. Got two kinds of tubes. Got the laser tube, and then you got the flexible hoses. Really, they're like vinyl tubes. The same type of stuff you see in aquariums. And So there's some clamps. I'll have to you know declamp, I guess, unclamp, declamp, separate, and then it's water's going to come out from two sides, and so I gotta deal with that, and then do it for the other side, and then remove the whole sensor, and then repeat the process. So it's just going to be it's just an inconvenience, really. It's not a very difficult process to replace it. Uh, I like this chair, but I get scared, and sometimes I just want to lay back, and I don't have carpet, so it's very easy for the chair to roll. Oh, the print. One print has finished. I need to I need to start the next. We gotta do it twice. Okay, now, so this part here got printed. What I need to do is I need to go to another order that I have, and I just gotta bag some items on that. Okay, that's one order. It won't fit in this box, but I'm using it like a bin, and I need to get the parts that are outside. I think the laser burn is going a bit too slow. So I don't like charred edges or anything like that. So I'm going to have to maybe redo it or something like that. Okay. Making sure everything's going to fit. Okay, this. I got to go to that order and take a look. Orders. Yes, okay. Now I need to make sure I have all the components. Yep. So, I got to step all over stuff. I got a filing cabinet box that is in my way. It's been a while, but it's kind of being used as a table, for like spare parts. Let me go get oh, let me go get another little bag, and then I'll be able to finally close up that order and send it out. Oh, oh, completed. Okay, good. Now I'll go and take a look and see. Let me see if this fits properly. Come on, out. Yeah. Oh yeah, nice and tight. So this piece here, can you see it? Too much glare. Anyway, it fits nice and tight. Actually, I'm going to put, instead of a small bag, I'm just going to leave it at that. Okay, so I can put this, and I can put this bag away. So you can see this is going to be a nice little bag thing. You can tell it would be nice to have a like, little label, printed for it. I got to work on labels, I guess. Where did it go? No, right here. Okay, so this order is complete. Let me put this. Let me get the poker table I just laser cut. It almost made a complete cut, so I'm going to go ahead and just do one more time. Oh, gotta get the software. So this will take another 8 minutes, 9 minutes. So that was good. The cut looks like it's coming out even better than I thought. So great. And so far, I haven't gotten a timeout on the sensor because, like I said, the sensor needs to get replaced. So what's going on is that um, I'm getting a timeout error to check the sensor or check the water pump. What it is that the sensor is, I guess, there's a ball bearing or something that's going bad. So it uses like a fan. So as water flows through, it turns the fan, it counts the revolutions, and it knows if the water is flowing. So I bet you there's, that fan part has failed somehow. The thing is that if I rotate that sensor, just a few degrees or something like that, it will work until vibrations from the machine, moves that off of that angle. So I gotta replace it, but time. I don't have so much time, but I will after Joe Fest, I guess. Then I'll have some time. I guess you could say I'm using Joe Fest as I don't want to say the milestone, but it's like you could say like I don't know what to call it. But once I get to Joe Fest, I guess you could say it's kind of like a little breather. And then when I get back, I should take the time to work with that machine and replace the sensor, and then go, from then on until the next year when the next Joe Fest occurs. Now I have this, how to say, uh, this next production run. Using Joe Fest as the markers of to indicate production runs. I guess. I don't know. Don't mind me. Okay. This is a brand of green tea that I first came across in Thailand called Rishi, and it's pretty good. I don't care for sweet tea. I don't go for sweet tea at all. But this stuff is not bad. Okay. Yeah. Today's Friday, huh? Oh, I got a post in 3D Printed Toys official group. Uh, 3D. Okay, official. Completely forgot about this. Now I wait for Facebook to catch up. There it is. Huh? What's this? You're invited to previous special. Why is Facebook sending me this? You're invited to a community leader discussion about Stop Asian Hate. I don't know. Let's see. Uh, Friday, time to show what you've been 3D printing this week. Use the background. I guess choose hearts. Post. Yeah, I don't know why they sent me that with on a 3D printed toys group. It's not like this is some sort of activist page, So I mean, it's like I'm not going to turn around and use my stuff to lecture anybody. Maybe it's for like within a company or something, that kind of thing, company policies or something like that. I don't know. Hey, greetings. I get to how I do it. Oh, show. Okay. Greetings, Alexis. Uh, yeah, it's good to be alive on Friday, visiting. I just noticed there's an icon here. What's this? Oh, so apparently I'm having internet issues at the moment. So I just got from StreamYard. I just got uh, a little icon saying that there's internet speed quality issues going on. If I'm on Wi-Fi, it moves closer to the router. I'm not on Wi-Fi at all. This is our hardwired connection directly to the router. So, in other words, it's probably not my router that's slowing down. It's probably, um, outside, beyond the building, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's good to be alive. It's good to be doing things. 3D prints, visiting the channel here. Um, I'm curious to see what people post about the VSS, because now things are getting even more heated up. I know Alexis has a very good VSS project going on, and I'm always impressed with the photos he's been posting on the Venomous Sea Serpent group on Facebook. And I tell you, every time he posts something on that group, it gets me inspired to do something more. So it's kind of like a self-feeding, machine kind of thing. And uh, I really do get inspired, because sometimes there's so many things to do, and it's easy to feel bogged down, but you got to push. So you're feeling bogged down, but you're still pushing through. And so when other people post photos and things, it fills me with a feeling that I have to perform too. I can't let other people down. People are interested in what photos I can post as well. So it all helps. Hey, great, another. I like it when people send comments, because then I can post things and get feedback. So I'm having a time of my life right here. Thanks. I almost finished the VSS controls kits. Cool, very cool. Oh, the printer, the laser cutter just finished. I hope it went all the way through. Let me take a quick look. Let's see. Well, some items went through, but not all the way. So got a nice clean cut on this one. There's a little bit of the wood that wants to keep things in place. So, got to switch. I'm going to do another burn on it and just keep doing it until it goes through. Sometimes that's what it takes. And I'm not like some people. They will put the power to like 50%, and they want the cut to happen like just one pass. That takes strain on the laser tube. Even though the laser tube, is still going to be okay. They say you don't want to go beyond 70% on the tube in terms of power. Beyond 70%, apparently that begins to wear down um, the tube's operational life. So that's why I keep things low power, and I got to do multiple passes usually on low power. But sometimes I deal with thin plastics and stuff, so low power helps there. Yeah, so I'm curious about what's the next step. So Alexis, let me ask you. Once you get done with the VSS control kit, what's the next step you plan to do? If you're still here, sometimes um, people come just to check in, but they're busy. People, especially on Fridays. So every lower decks, cool. Yeah, lower decks. Yeah, that should be good. Um, I really need to take like a screenshot of the next step that I'm doing with my VSS so people can see more or less what's going on. And maybe for Joe Fest, what I intend to do, I got a TV back here. It's a small one, and I got it so I could take it to like JoeCon when that was a thing. And the idea was I can have like some sort of slideshow going on. Well, only got to use it for one JoeCon. Um, so I'm thinking of taking it to Joe Fest now, and I'm thinking of like just putting slideshows of like the VSS, different things we do at Die Warriors, different props, things like that, and so people can kind of see, what we do. And there's a lot of interest about the figures that we're doing. I still trying to be tight-lipped about it, but we're very close to showing pictures. And I was hoping for Joe Fest to have some banners made on all the figures, but I may not have the time to do. It's not on my part. This is coming from the design studio. May not have the time to get all the pictures necessary so we can post about them. So I am looking for ways to kind of improvise, and I may just take some of the sketches, clean up the sketches, and use the sketches as the photos, really, for the banners. So it's essentially a big teaser, but it's more than a teaser because it's going to be reality. God willing, it's going to be reality. So I always go through to make sure that everything is splinter free on all of these wood stuff. And this is time consuming because, this is just one part here. But I go through every part as if I was making it myself. And I figure that if I don't take the time to care, why bother to make a good quality item and sell it out there? It's I take pride with what I do, with the designs I do and how I do them. So I want to make sure everything fits just right. May not be perfect, but just right, and everything assembles just right. Everything is pretty much safe to touch just right. You know, I see it's just right. So, but always with wood, even with the 3D printed stuff, there's always um, there's always going to be some sort of rough area, and that may be an area for splinters, especially with wood. So never completely trust everything. When in doubt, take your own file and file things. Same thing with the plastic parts. Like I was saying earlier, there's um, there's stringies that happen, and there's no stringing on this one. But even in this case, I break off a tab that I use to help secure the thing, and then I feel it down here. See if it's not anything that's going to knife somebody. You know, you rub it the wrong way, and if there's a jagged edge, yeah, that could act like a saw. So I make sure everything is smooth, everything is as it should be. But you always get pieces and parts that have a little bit of rough to it. So always take a file or sandpaper and try to finish it off to your liking. Um, I don't design anything that really requires a knife, so you don't have to use a knife. I try to keep it as simple as possible. Sandpaper, file, even even a file like a fingernail file. Even that would be enough to kind of deal with the stuff that I send out. Oh yeah, yeah. Another. What happened to my mouse? Okay. Yes. Yeah, like the blueprint background. Yeah. Um, kind of like that. I do have some line drawings, sketches. They do have like pencil shading. All of it was not done with a pencil. It's just software. It's very impressive work that some of these artists do, and so I'm thinking of cleaning up the backgrounds, making the backgrounds transparent, and then just putting them, laying them out on a banner, and going to like Vistaprint and getting the banners printed and things. The only thing I'm concerned about is that the banners are so big, and the files I have, there's the images are kind of small, even though they're high resolution images. They're not scaled for banners. So instead of stretching the images, because that can lead to stepping and pixelation, I am thinking about just maybe make the banners a little bit more technical, very much like a blueprint. So you have like a picture of a figure, and then do things like 100 millimeters tall, and have like bracketed in, and then have like articulation, like indicate like 30 points of articulation, and then have arrows pointing to different locations, things like that. Make it more technical, and so I'm kind of like in the process of that. The thing is that I'm using Vistaprint, and that doesn't have the best tools for for doing like arrows and line drawings. So I may have to move it to a different kind of art program and make all those technical looking things, and then export it into Vistaprint. and and not resize anything, and do it like that. So yes, 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 very much like a blueprint. I have stuff like that already done. You see, what I'm doing is this. It's no secret what I'm doing involves aliens, and so that part is no secret. Now, oh, the laser cut finished. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to make the how would I say make it easier for people to think what can they do to incorporate real world aliens into their existing action figure collection. So I'm working on a little booklet off the side, and the booklet, because the theme is conspiracy. That's also no secret. I have to set the tone. So I have to put like in the booklet, kind of explain kind of like the beginnings, and then have like progression about conspiracies leading into modern day conspiracies. And then set it up so you can kind of imagine how you can set up your figures in a world of conspiracy. The easy thing coming from a GI Joe background is the jugglers. If you follow the GI Joe comics, um, the jugglers are past the point where I kind of stopped collecting, and so I'm doing a lot of catch up on GI Joe lore with that. But there's people who pull strings in the background. Well, that's kind of like the deep state kind of thing. So now you get into conspiracy things. So that opens the door to all sorts of possibilities. Like, what if you had a situation where the Joe team, let's say Breaker, comes across some information that was supposed to be, above top secret, and he comes across information. Now Breaker has to be silenced, and so the Joe team has to help their 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 comrade. At the same time, do you want to split the Joe team so you have some that want to follow orders, or do you want to have some that are going to, orders be damned kind of thing and protect Breaker? Or what if another group, let's say, for example, you have the Joe team and one of their own, Breaker or somebody, or some no name Joe, a custom figure, comes across this information, and maybe doesn't have to be forcefully silenced, or maybe he does, and so you end up having some other group come in, some other team. It doesn't have to be GI Joe. It could be Eagle Force. It could be some other group, and their their mission is to silence Breaker. And so it becomes this thing of, does the Joe team, follow orders, or are they going to hide and protect one of their own? Or, are you going to have those who are going to be, split in that? There's all sorts of ways you can play a conspiracy thing in there, and that could be part of a larger Dio story. And in terms of aliens, there's other things that can easily be done. For example, okay, around the world, there's these locations out in the ocean. And it's not really necessarily has to be only out in the ocean, but there's these places that are not frequented by human traffic at all. Cargo ships do not go in these areas. They're not on. It's not along the regular shipping lanes. Airlines do not fly over these areas. They're not on the regular airline flight lanes. These are areas referred to as Nemo zones, and there are areas where they're just not frequented by people at all. And if you want to go from point A to point B, you don't need to pass by these areas. There's other routes to take. And so what happens is that these other routes, become normal routes, and then no one visits these other locations. So what you end up having is places around the world, usually in the oceans, where no one ever goes. Planes don't fly over, ships don't go through, and even lots of times military do not send their navies through there because it's just no need. Well, so what if you have a story where suddenly there's some sort of anomaly underwater? Suddenly, sonar buoys are detecting, sound movement, some sort of something that requires investigation. Or, for example, NORAD is tracking some object that originated beyond Earth, and it's entering into Earth's atmosphere, but it does turns, so it's not acting like a regular asteroid, meteor, or something like that. It's actually making course adjustments, and it crashes into one of these Nemo zones. And so now it's a race to get, let's say, the Joe team there first, before the October Guard gets there, before other teams get there. So you could have this, like, race to this particular zone to find out what crashed. And of course, when you get there, you can either have another team already there, another team, they came across something and they all perish. So let's say that the Joe team comes across this other team. Maybe it's on a boat, maybe it's on some sort of submarine or something, and they find everyone dead, or maybe there's one survivor. And so you can see that can lead to an underwater type of adventure, and aliens can be involved, and becomes a life and death thing. It's the Joe team against this unknown entity with technology that's way more advanced than anything they've seen. So those are little ideas there. So I'm writing this booklet with a lot of these little bitty ideas, just so people can use it as a jumping off point for their dial stories, and so some people, they may not know what to do with aliens, and then so maybe reading this little booklet might fire up that imagination, and they can say, yeah, I could do something like this. I need aliens. I need my Joe team to come across these non-Hollywood sci-fi aliens, you know, and then that's something there. So I'm trying, I'm trying different ways. Um, Takes a lot of research, and what I hope to do is to get this booklet finished, not in time for Joe Fest, but in time for the Kickstarter for the figures. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to get myself a binding machine and basically make my own um, booklets, bounded here by me, everything. And instead of going out there and paying someone out there to do it, I can do it myself. So could do it as a PDF, I guess, you know, or snippets or something like that. What I intend to do, what I hope to do, is do it in a way where the booklet could be expanded on. I don't want to make it to like a 3-ring binder, but maybe I could do something like that, where it has, instead of being bounded by machine, um, maybe it could be where it's hole punched and it has comes in a 3-ring binder. The idea being that if new information is done, we could put that as a PDF and people can print it on their own and add it to their binder. So I'm thinking about things like that as well. Then again, too, if I do get it, bookbinded, with a spine, maybe that might be a selling point or something. Being that maybe by getting it bounded like that, it will look nicer on the shelf, and so you know, have it right there with the coffee table. The Die Warriors Blue Book. It might that might work. That might work. Let me. What time is it? Because I need to. Do I have enough time to do a long print? Because another print has just finished, but I don't think I have enough time. If I want to leave in about 30 minutes, I'm going to have to call it quits, and I'm going to have to go. And which is one reason why I got this box ready. I'm going to do a little post office run. But I need to leave at the top of the hour, really. And so I'm going to call it quits about the top of the hour. That will be about 3 o'clock for me. So I'm doing another post office run tomorrow as well in the morning. So there's three or four, actually there's two small orders there. So there's about 5 orders I'm going to be getting out um, by tomorrow, and then there's some more orders there. That's going to have to wait for next week. But um, so if you don't get an email, tracking information tonight, then perhaps in the morning, and if not then perhaps yours might be the next round for next week. And I do multiple post office runs throughout the week. Sometimes on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, that kind of thing. And let me see how that laser cut has come out. Hey, great. So the parts came out okay. I'll file them later. What I'll use for filing, I'll use a um, little electric sander, and so I'll do that a little bit later, and I'll get that ready. So I can go ahead and close this up. Stop sharing. Okay, good. And let's see. I need to do some parts for the VSS also, but I want to go through the orders again and um, make a mental checklist of what I gotta print when I come back from the post office run. Let's see. Um, just thinking. Oh, let me take a look at my network machine. Oh, okay, it's ready to copy files. Copy, drag, drop, copy here. Okay, that's going. Um, okay. Oh, let's see. What else? Now I'm thinking about the time. So a little distraction there. What I also need to do is I really need to think about now that I got wood in the machine, focused for wood. I am thinking I'm going to have to make some sort of wall for this. This is Alexis, if you're still there, ah, let me I got it right here. So let me take this. Let me take this. These are new prints. Let me just break this off. Okay. So what it is that last week, was it last week or was it earlier this week? I think it was last week. I removed a middle wall from the VSS MDF here. Of course, you may not recognize it if you have a VSS already because originally this was not cut out. I cut this out in one of the laser machines. MDF is not friendly for lasers. It's clay. It has wood. It has clay, and it's very hard on a CO2 laser to cut. It takes multiple passes, and it chars up the edges. It's not a very nice print. So, but anyway, I replaced this wall in the VSS with another piece, and what I'm trying to do is make my own wall. So something that's easier to remove. This one you can just remove it straight out from the VSS. But the reason why is that what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to set up a wall that I can easily change for other styles. So doing it like this, I would have to come up with either glue some greebles, and then I'm stuck with that kind of look for the remainder of this wall. Or I can come up with some sort of clipping or something, and then I can put greebles and then kind of secure it in. So it's a lot of work to secure the greebles and to make a like a warehouse wall, or I can change the greebles to a laboratory wall or some other kind of wall. But it will be a lot of work to just find a way to secure the greebles to the wall. So I wanted to come up with an easier way. That all I would have to do is um, replace the wall section by removing it. Basically make like a wooden wall structure where I could have the greebles printed, laser cut, whatever, and permanently attached, by glue. So all I would have to do is just remove that wood piece and then put another wood piece with a different style of greebles. So what I came up with, and Alexis on the VSS group was thinking the same way. So I came up with an idea that I can make some um, bulkheads, I guess. Put them on either side of the wall, and then put a piece across. Now this piece across, this piece here, will not be glued or anything like that. It'll be just fitting into this just as is. And the idea is that I can make a wall that fits into that groove, and I can just simply replace that wall and keep all of these plastic parts here, the same. And the thing about it is, if I don't need to have a wall, and I just want to have an open area, I still have this top beam, this frame, that can still take the weight of the flight deck that will be above it, and still be open, open area. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking. This kind of thing. So I hope I got the measurements all correct. The last time I did this, this piece was too big, and I had to laser cut the side to kind of adjust the length. I hope I don't have to do that again. So we'll see, because I got these little notches on the inside where these pieces kind of fit, and I didn't take that into account when I was measuring the thing. The moment of truth right here. Okay. I know it's going to be tight. Looks like it will work. I think. Actually, I think it will work. It's just that it's going to be tight. Yeah, it works. Success. Yeah, look at that. Oh, come on, move. Oh yeah, that fits perfectly. Maybe not. Maybe not. There's. I think I need to make a little adjustment. It looks like this piece here is like 2 millimeters too much. So I'm going to snip off a piece. Okay. Because what's happening is that it wants to fit, but to get it flush to the top of those beams, when I push down, these pieces force themselves right into the notches, the grooves on that side, and causing the top parts kind of spread out a little bit, so under strain, So I don't want to reprint anything. This is 15 hours worth. So I'm thinking I can just go ahead and just make the adjustment manually. Okay. Okay, let's see. Oh. Let's see. Okay, it's going to be tight, but yeah, it looks like it wants to fit. I may have to take a file. Yeah, I'm going to have to take a file now and kind of make it a little bit finer. Some little rough areas are not were not cut nicely. Okay. Okay. Yeah. By the way, I really think the best files for filing 3D printed stuff are these diamond coated files. I think they perform with the PLA plastic. They perform much better than an iron file. I don't want to remove too much. Okay. Let's see now. What time is it? Okay. Now we have success. Okay, cool. So what I need to do next is get some wood, and I don't need to do get some wood and start doing the design for cutting. I'm going to end up using 4 pieces of wood. Let's see. Do I have enough time to do that right now? Let's see. Yeah, I believe I do, actually. Okay, so now I'm going to switch gears to some CAD. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, like I said earlier, I was working on a gantry crane, and but what I'm going to do now, I'm going to open um, a file that I was working on. I'm not sure what I was doing with it. Okay, so let me bring up this other file, open, and I'll share the screen once I get it set up. Let's see, file, open. Bear with me, I got 2 more files to open. So I'll do this real fast, as quickly as I can, really. So that way, when I come back from the post office, I can continue. Okay, let's see. What do I have? I gotta go to StreamYard and share the window. Share screen. Share screen. Window. SolidWorks. Share. Okay, let's see. What do you guys see? Okay, see, so the drawback is that I am going to have to go full screen, and well, maybe I don't have to go full screen. Let's see. Okay, let's see. I got partial screen. So if I resize it to this, it gets bigger for the shared screen. Okay. So anyway, this is SolidWorks, my favorite CAD program. Let's see, window. I want to take a look at the assembly. So this is the finished product. So the easiest way to design what I need to do is make a sketch, a new sketch, and basically trace over what I need to do, and then come back later and carve out to make everything fit into the machine. So so let's say partition frame, and then all partition. Okay. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to select the front plane, go sketch, and basically make a box. I'm going to have to make some adjustments, but well, I'm not going to make the box there. You see, this is okay. What I need to do is, so right here, I'm working with 2 millimeters. I'm going to leave a little space in between, so I have some wiggle room to adjust the pieces. So 2.25. Now the measurement that I'm using here also should be 2.25. Should be 2 millimeters. 2.5. Let's say 2.25. So that's 2.25 there. Now I'm going to make a crazy box. I'm going to make sure I'm 90 degrees there. And then I'm going to make another item here. Make sure I'm 180. I'm going to trim these. Instead of making a square, I'm doing it like this because I need to make sure that I'm keeping to those measurements there. I'm going to just do a simple, quick way of just making a boundary right here, just so I can say extend entities, and I could just extend this line all the way, and then extend this line all the way down. Then I can go center line, right smack in the middle. Make sure I'm 90 degrees, or in this case 270. Yeah. I'm going to trim this off, sorry. And then I'm kind of changing my approach as I do this. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to select this. And then we'll say mirror. So now I have it there. Oh, you know what? Silly me. So anyway, I could extend this now to there. So I should have selected the top line also. Oh. Now I can get rid of this. And I can get rid of this. And so there is a little tab on the bottom. I don't remember what's the thickness of that tab. It might be 3 millimeters. So let's just say 3. So when you verify by going to Window, take a look at what I'm doing. This one. Yeah, so ignore this piece here, okay? That's just for support structure on the new printer. So ignore that. So this, how thick is this? It is 2 millimeters also. So again, I'm going to make it with wiggle room of 2.25. Ah, Okay, good. Only got less than 10 minutes. So here, I'm going to make this piece all the way to across. I'm going to make this piece all the way to the other side. Okay, now I'm going to trim off the excess here. Trim off the excess there. Trim off the excess there. Now, I don't know where. How deep or how far does this tab extend? No, so I go to is it insert, tools, study equations. Where's the evaluate? Measure. So I want to evaluate this surface to this surface. So what happened? Not the right thing selected. So let me do it again. Tools, evaluate, measure. So that surface to this surface. Okay. So it looks like the pink line, normal distance, 8 millimeters. Okay, so 8 millimeters. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna make it let's say 8.5 or 9. Doesn't really matter because this part here is gonna hide. Uh, Let me flip that off. Take a new switch. Center line. So let's say so it's 10 millimeters really because it's 2 millimeters from the back to here, and then 8 millimeters the rest. 10, let's just say 10.5. Give us some wiggle room here. Do I want to do that much wiggle room? No, I think we could do 10.25. So we click that. I'm going to change it to a construction line here. So from there to here, then all the way across. Actually, don't want to go all the way that much across. Well, yeah, I guess I do. Actually, no, I don't. I just want to go about here because I'm going to do the center line again and make a mirror. Well, yeah, so extend this all the way down. And again, I want to cut this. Now I want to select this. Actually, I want to select this, and then I want to say mirror entities, mirror about this line. So I just made the line that long. Now I'm going to come here and kind of do this. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut the middle. Okay. Cut the middle. Okay. So center line. Okay, so that's the middle point there. I am also going to just trim this off. Yeah, well, that means I need to trim this off too. Okay, so let me put a new center line. Okay, now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to mark more or less where these are. So I'm going to have this, indicate where these beams go. Because I'll use this later on to make additional greebles. So this gets a little bit on the time-consuming part. Because I'm basically tracing all of the contours. And I need to do the same thing here. Okay, I'm just going to estimate there because there's two parts, the top beam and the vertical beam. So I'm just going to estimate it here. Let me go back and take a look. I do a lot of zoom in, zoom out with the mouse wheel because it's faster than going through the menu or some other means to zoom in and out and change position at the same time. That's just me. I haven't seen anyone else do it like this. Almost time, 5 minutes left. I may not have the time to get to where I want to go, so where I want to be, so we'll see how much I can cover. Essentially, what I want to do is make this outline and then move it to a new part, paste it, and then extrude the 3mm thickness. And that's essentially that's all I need to do, really. Because then the next step after that would be to generate a 2D drawing, which is easy to do, easy to do with SolidWorks out of this 3D drawing, and send that 2D to the laser cutter. There's another program involved. There's I will have to save it as an Adobe Illustrator format, and then convert that format into a different format for the program that I like to use, which is called Affinity Designer. And then once I have that format changed, then I can do whatever. I can make greebles, I can make other holes, I can make other things, designs. I could add text or whatever. In which case, for this part, I will not do any of that. But that other program makes it easy to do those kinds of things. And then I will just simply export it as, I'll simply export, let's just go straight down. I will simply export it as an SVG file, which is used by laser cutters. Now, the nice thing about having it in the other program is I can come back to it later and I can make alterations and say, okay, I want to make a greeble here. I want this part to be done. I'm going to design it so I can cut it on styrene and do things, put some text, or make a window area here, and then laser cut some acrylic and make a window into the wall. You know, you can do stuff like that. A lot of that I can do easily also with SolidWorks. But when it comes to really mastering the laser cutter for 2D projects, you really want to get into a program that handles 2D better than a 3D CAD program. The 2D features that SolidWorks can do is mostly for illustrations, making a blueprint, making things for, things like that. So by making a 2D drawing off of it, I'm only doing it so I can export into another program that will recognize the file format. In this case, Adobe Illustrator. And since I don't use Adobe Illustrator, what I can do here is this. Watch. I'm going to make a mirror. Since I don't use Adobe Illustrator, I got to do the file format juggle. Juggle this format with that format, convert it here, convert it there. Did I get everything? Did I get inside there? Yeah, okay. So I'm highlighting the sketch I just did. I'm going to say mirror entities. I'm going to mirror around here. Hey, look at that. Right. Okay, so there's there's nothing that's misaligned. I'm almost done. Oh, 1 minute passed. No, actually, that clock is fast. Windows is telling me that I have 4 minutes to go. Now this is in yellow, so that means there's a problem. Yes, it's overdefined. I'm ignoring that for now. I'm going to also remove this piece and this piece. Now I need to do the same things with actually, the easiest way is this. I need to do the same thing for these areas. These are attachment ports where I'm going to secure the wall, the wood part to the wall to the plastic frame. Now this is optional. Originally, this was intended. But as I work with this right now, I'm thinking that maybe this is not even necessary. But I'm going to go ahead and design it into the laser cut part anyway, just in case I actually do need it. I can always make some part that will fill in the holes. If I can also make this into a different color on the laser software, and by having it as a different color, I can specify to ignore it. So in other words, I can laser all the other stuff and ignore these. Almost done here. It's a little shortcut. Oh, 2 minutes left. And this print is still going. I really can't leave until all the prints are done. So maybe I actually have a little bit extra time. I don't leave the machines on when I'm not around. I never leave my machines unattended. Not because some sort of fire hazard. No, I trust these machines to do well. It's that uh, I will do an offset here now. I'm going to specify. I don't remember what was the distance. Oh, you know what? I can figure it out right here. So the distance between here to here, half of it is 1.75. Okay. So I can do something like this. Watch. 1.75. That's the offset. That was at base geometry. So now I got it on one line. Now I'm going to say bidirectional. Now it's on two. Now I'm going to say end caps, arcs. Oh, look, all done. So all I have to do now is just select each one. There. So I don't leave these machines unattended, mostly because if the print fails, the machine is not going to know, and it's going to continue trying to print, and it's going to get messy. You're going to have spaghetti. You're going to have extra filament being printed, and it's going to do that until the print is finished, and that can lead to all kinds of problems. Okay, so now I am going to go ahead and copy all of this. Copy, yeah, because it's not going to copy the solid pieces in the background. So I say yes, continue. So now I'm going to click that. I'm going to go ahead and save this, just because in case I need to come back to it and I can work with it. Notice it has that some error there. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the error by force. I'm not going to spend time to figure out where the error might be. Although I think I know where. Let me just see. It's right here. No, it's not this. So I'm not going to spend time to figure out where the error might be. So I'm going to just clear the error by force by saying manual repair, delete all. Somewhere inside there is what's causing the error. Okay. And so now I'm going to just select everything again. Yes. And I'm going to get out of this, and I'm going to save it. Now the error is all gone. Now I'm going to go ahead and actually I'm just going to open a new part. New part. Okay. Let me see if there's any comments. No comments. Oh, I was kind of hoping there would be comments. Sketch. Oh, how come Sketch is not sketching? Okay. So now I paste what I did. Zoom in, grab from here. That was the center. Paste it right there. Zoom out. There's everything. Now I'm going to go ahead and do an extruded piece. 3 millimeters. I'm going to say extruded from the mid plane. And then you got this piece. We'll change the material. I would say carbon steel only because it makes it look kind of brown. So that's, to me, I just use that as indicating wood. If I say it was wood, it's going to look like some sort of cartoonish wood. It's not going to look any good. It's going to be too dark, too red, too brown. So this is more kind of like almost like a cardboard color. Save this part. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just call this, I don't know, I'm just going to say wall blank. And just treat it like that for now. Now I am going to basically prepare it for the 2D stuff. Still going, it's almost done with the print. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select the surface. I'm going to go sketch, make another sketch right there. Now I'm going to paste it again, but this time I'm going to remove things. Okay, there. So all this I'm going to go ahead and remove. I can just go ahead and treat it as a construction line. So that's what these dotted lines are. They're for references, and being able to manipulate other lines by reference, such as making, mirroring something around a particular line, that, like this one was, things like that. So it's called a construction line. Okay. Oh, that changed it for construction. Okay. Make sure everything is selected. Okay. Now, I kind of made a mistake in the sense that the easiest way, I should have just made everything into a non-construction line and then go back and make everything into a construction line. Because what I want to do is I want to cut out the middle here. All this stuff. Actually, I don't really want to cut it out. I just want to kind of make an offset. So let me just zoom in and take a quick look. Okay, that's done. So now I have this piece. Let me go ahead and cut this. Cut that off. And zoom out to here. Cut this one off. Because what I want to do now is select this bottom construction line and not make it into a construction line, make it into a solid line. So now the whole thing indicates that I could cut it or do other things with it. In this case, what I want to do is make an offset. So I want to offset it at 0. Let's say 1 millimeter offset. Okay, so when you look at this straight out, I don't want to make this bi-directional. Oh, what happened? It didn't take my... Well, how about that? Well, what I don't want to... let me just select this. What I want to do is deselect this. I don't want to select it. I'm going to deselect it. Come on, deselect it. Play nice. Okay, so it must have deselected it. This is showing me as a solid line, so I'm going to have to make sure it's not a solid line. Get rid of the end caps. So you can look at it here. I'm going to select this line here. And then I'm going to select this line here. Now I'm going to think about it for a moment. What I'm going to do here is approve this. Okay, there's issues there, but maybe I don't have to deal with them. Okay, I'm going to make that into a construction line. Then I'm going to trim this excess off. Trim this. I'm going to switch to the other side. Trim this. Man, 15 minutes, almost, well, 3:09, sorry. And the print's still going? Oh, okay, it's doing the top part now. So, what were these errors? You see how this has a curve, a little arc that was there. When I did the offset of 1 millimeters in, it, it changed that. This arc doesn't exist at that measurement change. So it's indicating that there's a missing part. That's what this square indicates. There's a problem there. Now the software may have been smart enough to join these two endpoints together. So if that's the case, we'll find out. But all I want to do with this is just mark where this boundary is. And then I will say, okay. And then I will, now I'm thinking, I'm thinking because let's see how this does when I make it into a 2D object. Okay. So this is there. When I go File, Make Drawing from Part. I say Cancel, and then I come down to the bottom. Because it's large, it's going to change the scale. So I go back to say 1:1. And then I take the item. Okay, it's keeping the construction lines. So this was just a simple test. What I'm going to do is I'm going to eliminate one of these construction lines down here, and I'm going to, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So let me just click that, click this off. Don't save. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to edit the sketch, highlight this, delete it. Then I'm going to go ahead to these areas, and I'm just going to delete everything, all these construction lines. It's a lot of stuff because it's all these little arcs. The software left a little marker showing what was there. That's what these little dotted lines are for. When the software refreshes itself, those lines will go. Okay, and then I gotta do the same thing on the other side. And I can get rid of this too. If I ever need to put these construction lines back, then what I would do is take the solid line here and then do an offset 1 millimeter in this direction to kind of put them back. Now, when I put it back, it won't have the arcs that are indicated by these yellow squares. So it will take some additional work afterwards. But I don't think I need to put these things back. I don't think I need to use them, because what's going to happen is this. If I 3D print a greeble, there's going to be some expansion to the plastic or shrinkage. It just depends. Depends what you do. So it's not going to be precise. And if I laser cut it, like engraving, well, not engraving, like for example, if I get some styrene and I laser cut, well, laser cut, you're removing material, so you got the width of the beam that it's going to be removed as well. So so I figure 1 millimeter to kind of use as the basis will be okay. It'll be a little noticeable that there's a 1 millimeter gap, but it'll look like it's part of the structure and all that. So artistically it will work. Okay, so everything looks good. I click that. Let me save this again. Now don't forget too, there's also the sketch that was done originally. So that's probably also why we're still seeing some of those dotted lines there. So let me go ahead and hide that. And there they go. Okay. Some of those lines, still exist, like I said. So let me go ahead and edit the sketch again. The border. Get rid of the border. There. Oh, these. Get rid of these. Okay. Now I'm going to select it, approve it, okay it, and then save it. The print finish. I need to start wrapping up now. So that's basically it then. So when I do this, when I go to make drawing from part, it's going to, I say cancel. And then I come down to here, change the scale to 1:1. And then drag, drop. So you notice this line back here. All that is fine. All this will translate into the software, and I'll be able to specify one color for this, and then another color for this, and I can even put another line if I need to. If, let's say, for example, I make the outside area red to cut through, and I make the inside lines, let's say, green, and I tell the green to only do low power, so it doesn't cut all the way through. In other words, it just marks the surface. And I can make another line with that software to using Affinity Designer as a software, and I can specify that line also to be red. So that way, it will cut all the red parts, and it'll just mark the green parts. And having these items indicated, this inner set of lines indicated, then I can even save it as a separate file if I need to, and I can carve up, and I can make this area look, I can laser cut it on styrene. I can make it look more sci-fi. I could have greebles printed on, and attached onto the styrene. I can have attachment points for other things. I can even, go in later and I can make a door or a window or both, things like that. So, whatever I needed, all I would have to do is just have this piece made, and then just change those pieces and then interchange what I need for different looks, different themes. Also, what I might have to do at the bottom of that wall, you can see it here, is make some sort of part. If not, you're going to have a seam. You're going to have where the wall meets the floor, and then you're going to have a little gap or little, because it's not going to be quite perfect. It's going to have a little spacing. Gravity may pull it down if you don't really have a spacing, but you'll have this little line, and so to cover that up, to make it look like it's more, like not like something's resting on the floor, I may just do a small little greeble to cover that area up. And maybe attach that to the wall itself as a greeble, So I say greebles, but basically it's a greeble to make it look like it's part of the floor. So anyway, okay, I'm going to go ahead and start closing down. I'm going to go ahead and save this. Files, save as. Do I want to save it? Save as, yeah. I say no. Yeah, update the views. Let's do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do I want to do it here? Yes. I'm going to go ahead and make a new folder. Call it Adobe Illustrator. I don't have Adobe Illustrator, but I'm making this file format. And then I'm going to choose Adobe Illustrator Files, and then I'm going to save it. Okay, now I'm going to close it, and I'm going to say no, don't save. Now this is the original. I'm going to save it again just in case. The next step, when I return from the post office, will be to take that Adobe Illustrator file, load it into Affinity Designer, convert it from Adobe Illustrator to Affinity Designer format, and then I could do anything I want with it. Okay. Well, folks, thanks for staying with me this far. And I guess I will stop share screen. And I am going to go ahead and wait for the printer to cool down, which won't take more than 10 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to prepare this box, get the label going, and make a run to the post office. Tonight, like I said, I will continue with the orders, and so you may get more. You may get a notification for your order if you have one, and tonight or tomorrow in the morning. And if not, then yours is going to be going out for next week, because I'm trying to prepare for Joe Fest, so I'm trying to clear out all the orders that are left, and unfortunately, there's steps that I need to take to prepare some of these things, and those things take time, like putting the like smoothing the plastic. I need 24 hours at least before I can put it into a bag. So there's little things like that. So okay, enough said. I'm repeating. Catch my breath here. Okay, folks, thanks for watching, and I will continue later, I suppose. All right. Bye. Bye for now.